What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, future entrepreneurs? I hope you're doing well. This video is about place, and it's about the marketing mix and how place fits in the marketing mix. So you might have learned about product, price, promotion, and it's great if you have a product. But then what's the point of having a product if a consumer cannot get hold of it? And this is when place becomes important, becomes sort of a cornerstone of every business. One of the major brands, Coca-Cola, gives its success to a very good distribution network, to having this multi-channel distribution, so that when you're up the mountains in South America, you're gonna find a little shack, a little convenience store in the middle of nowhere, and guess what? They'll have Coca-Cola. So again, but it's not them themselves. When you see these red trucks going around, they don't really have their own trucks, because here in the UK, they don't distribute directly to the consumer. No, they have intermediaries. And that's what we're going to look at today. So number one is we're going to look at, not coffee, but just let me give it a chalk. We're going to look at place. So we have a little mind map. Place. So with place, we see the key definition is the keyword is geographical. So place refers to the geographical location of the business or the placement of the product in a shop. So it's not just about where the business is and its distribution channel, but it's also once you have the product, where is it? How is it displayed in the shop? Is it at the back of the shop, like bread and milk, or is it at the front of the shop? Like those little displays that they have as you're going by the till, which are for impulsive buyers. So that's also part of place. So again, is the geographical location of the business and the placement of the product in the shop. So that's one key point. The next one is we have two keywords to understand. One is what is a retailer and what's a wholesaler. So a retailer will be a business that deals directly with the consumer. It's a retailer. We'll put an R here, and then we have a wholesaler, a W. So a wholesaler, on the other hand, is one which is not necessarily selling directly to the consumer, but it will sell to other businesses, usually to retailers. So take again Coca-Cola. It sells to Costco, and Costco sells it on to the corner shops, convenience stores. So what Costco does, they're a wholesaler. So they buy in bulk, and they also do something called bulk breaking. Buying in bulk, you can imagine, is one of those economies of scale. They buy in big amounts at a lower price. And the reason they do it is because, again, they get that difference between the cost of buying it and the price they're going to charge when they sell. And it's beneficial for both, beneficial for Coca-Cola, beneficial for Costco, because Coca-Cola gets their money now. They don't have to wait until the consumer, until you and I purchase a drink for them to have the money. They'll get it when they sell it to a wholesaler. So that's one of the advantages. And the advantage for the wholesaler is, well, they're the ones with the network, with the distribution. So they're then able to sell it on to corner shops. Or they might have these big warehouses on industrial estates, sort of on the outskirts of London, where retailers will go and buy from them. So again, two keywords: retailers, they'll sell to consumers; wholesalers, they'll sell to other businesses like retailers and convenience stores. And they bulk buy and bulk break, because they will break that bulk into small chunks. Good. So next we need to understand channels of distribution. So we'll put that here. This side, we have C for channels of distribution. So when we look at channels of distribution, we can break this into four. But before it breaks into two. We have direct channels of distribution. We have indirect channels of distribution. So direct channels of distribution are those where the manufacturer sells directly to the consumer. A little bit like Apple, they can sell directly to the consumer. You can buy directly from their website. So the maker of the product sells to the consumer. The same way Häagen-Dazs, for example, you might have seen they have these ice cream shops Haagen-Dazs ice cream shops where they sell directly to the consumer, and they will charge you a high price because they offer you some really good environment in which you buy the product. So that is direct selling. Oh, sorry, direct channel distribution. Whereas an indirect channel distribution is one where you have an intermediary, someone in between. It could be a retailer or a wholesaler. So those two, and then they break into two other forms each. So one of them, the direct, would be when the products go from the manufacturer to the consumer, with no retailer in the middle. So directly to the consumer, they sell. Like when you buy something from Apple, directly from the Apple company. Or the other one is through something called an agent. And the way this operates is usually with creams and makeup. You tend to have agents, and agents, they don't work for the makers for the manufacturers, but they facilitate the purchase. So for example, I had a friend at school, and she will sell makeup, and she was an agent for Avon. They make creams, and she will get all these other girls at school to buy all this makeup, and she would make a commission on what she sold. But at no point did she get hold of the products. It was the manufacturers who send the makeup to the ones who purchased it. So she was an agent. It's considered she was considered an agent. But again, they're not employed by the manufacturer. They just work on commission depending on the quantity they sell, and they just facilitate the service between the manufacturer and the consumer. So that's considered direct channel distribution. Now, indirect channel distribution, we have two. We have one which is the shorter version, which is manufacturer to retailer to consumer. So manufacturer to then retailer to then consumer. This is Coca-Cola selling to Tesco, Tesco selling to us. And then we have another one, slightly a longer. This was the manufacturer to the wholesaler to the retailer. Oops, I'm running out of space. To the consumer. And those will be your indirect channels of distribution. Then, I mean, pros and cons. Yes, there are pros and cons. So the advantages of having an indirect channel distribution is that you might be able to gain a wider reach of your products, the way Coca-Cola does, because they have these indirect channels of distribution. They don't necessarily own the companies who are selling on their products. They don't own Costco. They don't own all these wholesalers. They don't own the retail shops. They don't own the convenience stores, but they rely on them. So having a multi-channel of distribution allows the product to reach further. Another advantage of indirect channels of distribution is that it reduces storage costs. It allows businesses, manufacturers to gain money quickly before the consumer purchases the product. They're able to reduce admin costs and invoices because they are only making one big sale at a time. They're not making many small sales. So they reduce admin and invoices. The disadvantage in this instance is that because the more intermediaries you might have between the manufacturer and the consumer, then the cost of the product tends to increase, as every intermediary would want to increase the price to gain some sort of profit from the transaction, from passing the product from one to the other stage. So that's kind of your point where you can evaluate, when you can analyze the advantages and disadvantages. Good. So another key point here is to understand what a long channel of distribution is versus a short channel distribution. So we can put that here. So we can break that into two. So a long and a short channel distribution. What is the benefit and what is the difference? So a short channel distribution appeals to convenience goods. So if you learn about product, you know that there's convenience goods, shopping goods, and specialty goods. So a short channel is usually for convenience goods because convenience goods expire. They don't have a long time to be displayed. Like look at bread. Hovies, they make bread and they quickly have to get it on every single possible convenience store and retailer out there, because within a week it's gone. It's literally gonna be molded. There's going to be mold growing on it. So a short channel of distribution will be convenient for convenience goods, whereas a long channel of distribution will be more for shopping goods, clothes, furniture, things that are durable goods, things that they don't have an expiry date. So therefore, they can stay in a warehouse for a longer period of time. And again, the difference between both is is the consumer. So for convenience goods, like bread and butter, I'm not gonna travel across an hour to be able to buy it. I'll just go whichever is the closest shop. That's where I'll go and buy it. Whereas on the other hand, if I'm looking at clothes, there might be a particular type of fashion that suits me. So I'll be willing to travel a little bit longer to that shop in, I don't know, Oxford Street. And it's also the experience. So hence, a longer distribution channel might appeal to those shopping goods. And that's a little bit how place fits in this whole gamma of the marketing mix. And I guess the last bit to look at is the exploitation of consumer biases on the placement of the product in the shop. And this goes down to sort of consumer behavior and using hooks, such as placing the product, having a what they call a point of sale, and this is part of merchandising and promotion, where they'll display it in such a way that it encourages you to pick the product up. So again, that's placement. That's where they put the product. That it's something appealing. Even you get these people who they're not hungry, but yet they'll buy it. They're not thirsty, but yet they'll still get a drink, because the way where it's displayed just encourages you to pick that product. And that is it. That is it from me. Have a great day or night, and answer the questions below if you can. There should be some questions for you to test your knowledge. Until next time.